And of course, you are very pleased to be here, and you will be speaking in French. Vous allez parler en français, and we have Stéphane who is here with us. We'll do some translations, so bear with us, Monsieur Le Drian.
Merci à vous, merci à tous ceux et toutes celles qui sont présentes, Monsieur l'ambassadeur. Moi, je voulais simplement être là au début de ce forum pour plusieurs raisons.
Thanks very much to everyone for being here. Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador. Mr. Le Drian just wanted to be here at the very beginning to give a few introductory words.
D'abord parce que c'est la première édition de Sirha Arabia et je voulais en féliciter les organisateurs. C'est une initiative audacieuse mais une initiative réfléchie qui fait que et la gastronomie française et la gastronomie saoudienne et les gastronomies du monde peuvent se donner rendez-vous ici dans les années qui viennent, et ce que j'ai pu voir déjà de ce salon montre que c'est déjà une réussite.
First, because this is the first edition of the Sirha Arabia, and Mr. Le Drian wanted to congratulate all the organizers. This is a very ambitious event, but well thought, and he strongly hoped that Sirha Arabia will be the beginning of the fusion between the French gastronomy, the Saudi gastronomy, and all the world gastronomy.
Et puis c'est aussi une grande satisfaction pour la France d'avoir cette présence-là, à ce moment-ci de l'histoire de nos relations entre l'Arabie Saoudite et la France. Et j'en parle en connaissance de cause, puisque j'ai été chargé il y a quelques années du commerce extérieur de la France. Et donc c'est pour moi une grande satisfaction d'assister à cet événement.
So it's a great satisfaction and a great proud to see the French gastronomy being here and being part of the strengthening relationship between Saudi Arabia and France. And Mr. Le Drian remind that he's been the ex-minister of Foreign Affairs, and so this relationship between Saudi Arabia and France are crucial for him.
Alors deux mots de manière complémentaire sur l'agence française pour Al-Ula. Vous allez en parler tout de suite, cher Stéphane Formand, dans un échange sur l'agriculture oasienne. Mais je voulais simplement rappeler que cette agence que j'ai l'honneur de présider a été créée par un accord intergouvernemental en 2018.
So he wants to give 2 words about the French Agency for Al-Ula Development that he is very honored to chair today. This agency was created following a bilateral agreement between the 2 countries that was signed back in 2018.
Et le président de la République, en accord avec le prince héritier, a souhaité que je préside cette association, cette agence plutôt depuis un an.
So the French President of the Republic and His Royal Highness the Prince have agreed that Mr. Le Drian could chair this agency since now 1 year.
Nous travaillons en étroite collaboration avec la RCU, en collaboration de partenariat.
We work in a very strong and close partnership with the Royal Commission for Al-Ula, who is at the same time implementing this project of Al-Ula development, but also a kind of local authority.
Avec un objectif de faire de Al-Ula une destination touristique patrimoniale, valorisant les héritages.
With a key objective of making Al-Ula a future touristic destination, but that valorise the heritage tourism.
Et ce qui me frappe le plus depuis que j'exerce ces responsabilités, c'est la force de ce que représente l'héritage à la fois culturel et gastronomique.
And what strikes him the most since he took his function is that the strength that represents this legacy, this heritage, from the cultural and the gastronomic part.
Et le fait de promouvoir une destination qui se veut patrimoniale, c'est aussi favoriser la renaissance de l'agriculture oasienne et favoriser aussi le maintien d'agriculteurs fiers de leur tradition et de la qualité de ce qu'ils produisent. C'est ce à quoi aussi nous servons et nous accompagnons ce mouvement avec beaucoup je crois, d'efficience et beaucoup de volonté.
And promoting such heritage, legacy-based development system is also promoting the revival of the agriculture, the tradition and culture that local farmers can have, and this legacy part is crucial.
Stéphane Formand va commenter tout cela à son niveau puisqu'il est directeur du développement du territoire pour l'agence française pour Al-Ula. Mais je voulais apporter ma présence et ma contribution à votre discussion et je vous laisse maintenant à ce débat.
So I'm gonna talk with my colleagues here about this contribution of agriculture and gastronomy in Al-Ula, but Mr. Le Drian wanted to bring his own contribution and tell us how important is this part in the partnership.
Fantastic. Merci. Thank you very much, Jean-Yves Le Drian. Merci beaucoup. Merci. So the president of the French Agency for the Development of Al-Ula, and maybe we will come closer over here. And I would like to thank you, Stéphane. So you are a very good translator. Yeah. I think we can give him a round of applause. Well deserved. All right. So I think this nicely sets the context. Thank you, Jean-Yves Le Drian, for that. And maybe, Stéphane, I will start with this. It's probably interesting for the audience not to give some context maybe about the agricultural landscape and communities of Al-Ula's oasis, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, as maybe most of you know, Al-Ula is also a very strong, very large history. And clearly, along the millennia and centuries, agriculture has probably, and human activities have shaped the landscape of Al-Ula today. So we'll see a few pictures if we can regarding what we can find here. But the first very interesting thing is that all our research on archaeology have demonstrated that agriculture started thousands of years ago. With a different civilization, whether it's Dadan civilization, whether it's Hegra civilization, so the Nabatean. And we have research projects that demonstrate through seeds or through charcoal that fruit trees and then palm trees, but also cereals, grain, aromatic herbs were produced already thousands of years ago. And Al-Ula has a very special, we have a word in French that we call terroir that is very hard to translate, and I tried to translate it into English here. And Al-Ula is a very special terroir. All our specialists, whether in agriculture, whether the chef that came in Al-Ula, really found the products fantastic and exceptional here. And so this agriculture, with the farmers, with the community in this history, have step by step shaped the landscape of Al-Ula with these 3 layers oasis. First, the date palm providing shade to the fruit trees, perennial fruit trees, and themselves providing shade for ground agriculture and crops such as aromatic herbs, but also for fodder for livestock, but also horticulture and vegetable. And we have there fantastic products such as local dates, the Al-Ula Barney, the Ejoie, but also honey, dairy products that have been produced since years and years. And so yes, traditions, history, and current agriculture have shaped the agricultural landscape here in Al-Ula.
I have more questions for you, but I would like to turn to Yasser. So Yasser, it's great to have you. So with your culinary experience, how do you perceive the impact of Al-Ula's high-quality agricultural products on the local as well as on international culinary scenes?
In fact, the challenge is really now very high to utilize such ingredient that very well known and very genuine from the lands of Al-Ula. But for the young generation, they have a lot of opportunity to develop not just the Saudi cuisine, to uplift the Saudi cuisine for the tourists, if they since they are going to be attracted more in Al-Ula, in addition to gain international experience from French chefs and from global chefs, and create a kind of twist, international gastronomy along with Saudi ingredient, with pinch of Saudi flavor. So the very potential. I hear a lot of entrepreneurs. They are now targeting themselves to open and to have very sustainable project business, because once they finalize the strategy and the whole landscape of Al-Ula, I think that then they will have I think a better view and vision to start and to do very sustainable business rather than just pop-up, because if you bring chefs to do just pop-up, it might not sustain, and it might not give them an encouraging hit pinch for the future. So yes, Al-Ula, it's really very potential and very connected with the position of near to Medina, not too far from the west part of Saudi Arabia, Jeddah and Mecca. So I totally agree with him. There's so many ingredients that could be really utilized perfectly with the Saudi gastronomy in order to have their own flavor for Al-Ula.
We'll get back to that. Yes, yeah, thank you for highlighting that. So maybe getting back, Stéphane, on what you said earlier, it was important to revive agriculture with the advent of the Royal Commission of Al-Ula in 2018. That was something key, and subsequently revive the taste of agriculture and food culture in this region. This was very key.
Yeah, absolutely, and I might give the floor to James on that, because when before our CU started, the Royal Commission of Al-Ula started back more than 6 years ago. Indeed, since the 80s, I think agriculture, at least the oasis agriculture in the center of Al-Ula, and I can show you a picture, was step by step abandoned. Not totally. Some farmers were continuing, but the inheritage of land, the subdivision of land, but also the fact that other jobs were coming made agriculture and food processing a bit less trendy. And so agriculture was abandoned, and really immediately it was one of the main priority of the Royal Commission to revitalize that. Maybe James.
James, I'll let you react to that if you want to build on that, and then we'll also speak about the attractiveness of this region.
Sure. Thanks very much. The abandonment of farms really was a time of great change for the people of Al-Ula, as for much of the world. The traditional agricultural practices, sustainable practices, highly biodiverse agriculture that had sustained families for centuries, together with all of those recipes, all of those foods, all of those things that had come into Al-Ula over centuries of pilgrims passing through Al-Ula on their way to the holy sites, started to fall down. People joined the modern economy. New farms were developed on the periphery of Al-Ula that were commercial farms, conventional farms, big irrigation, and it was discovered that this was not sustainable. The wonderful thing that is happening with the Royal Commission for Al-Ula and the revival of Al-Ula, with it steeped in its heritage of the community, is that small-scale agriculture, those traditional crops, the livestock, the relationship of the people with the land is being revived, and a new generation of young farmers are coming into that. But it's not just the farm. You know, we talk about the farming and the sustainable farming practices, the reduction of the use of water through using smart technology, combined with traditional agricultural methods. And then we look at the chefs, but getting the food and the products
Right.
from the farm into the markets. And so this is where a huge amount of innovation comes into it, through understanding what our products are. And so looking at specifications, looking at the certification of the agricultural production system, looking at the needs for the post-harvest handling and storage of products so that we're able to place those products in appropriate markets to get their best value. We talk about generating value in Al-Ula, but also retaining value in Al-Ula so that
Absolutely.
it's not being lost outside of the economy of Al-Ula.
And from my understanding, the agricultural sector in Al-Ula is central to enhance the attractiveness when it comes, to look at Saudi as a tourist destination, and this comes under the vision of 2030.
Absolutely. And it's a marvelous thing because it combines culture, the community, the people, their food, their traditional practices. And we look at this time of the year, for example, with the Al-Ula Dates Festival, the buzz in the community is wonderful, and the revival of that through the markets of dates, through the souk, the festival that we have based around our Amanshia Farmers Market, is something it's just very exciting. The community is excited. The dancing, the singing, it's a great vibe. And we can see that the community, there is a renewal of community there.
Brilliant.
And for us to see that young people are able to make, not only in farming, but in all of these other functions in the value chain, to be revived and renewed, it's a really great
Fantastic.
thing.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, James. Maybe Yasser, speaking about the Saudi Arabian Chef Association, so how can you, support and promote really Al-Ula's agricultural products? How can you help there?
Definitely, to educate the chefs with the local ingredient, it has to have a kind of a fund or a kind of global process. Yeah, I mean, from a Minister of Agriculture or government entity, they could collaborate in like a master class or a kind of process that encourage the chef to go for the local ingredient and focus on the seasonal product rather than just grab wherever in the market. And I mean, finally, it was what's in the dish. I mean, the yield is very important to be calculated, but sometimes maybe entrepreneur or small business need to consider that they have to get a kind of financial support to utilize the ingredient of the local, because sometimes the local ingredient could be higher than wherever imported ingredient. And that kind of collaboration from government entity, it will help. Just network of the chefs, they will talk in their meetings and their gathering, but a special mechanism and process that intentionally could give a push for the local ingredient to be utilized. If you check the price for instance, local dates, certain cut in certain season could be expensive compared to other, from different location, like Al-Ula dates or Al-Ula palmy or Al-Ula lemon. In certain situations, could be higher price. So that kind of fund or support
Can
could
be
help.
tricky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank you, Yasser. All three of you mentioned sustainable practices. Maybe tell us, Stefan, what are you doing concretely, with farmers to improve sustainable farming practices with the agency?
Well, sustainability has many dimensions. I think James talked a lot about social sustainability, socio-economic sustainability. We won't do anything on the long term without local farmers, local buyers, local stakeholders of the entire value chain. So this is one part. And for sure, the environmental sustainability is key. Water, let's say it, water is the main issue in Al-Ula, not only for agriculture, but for the entire future of the Al-Ula project. So getting into more sustainable practices related to irrigation, for example, is one of the key aspects. Smart irrigation works in other countries, but there is some time for local farmers to adopt those technology. Local farmers, since centuries, have used what we call flood irrigation, so many water coming at the feet of the trees. Drip irrigation, drip by drip, it works very well, but traditionally farmers have some difficulties to adopt it because if they don't see water, they think that the trees is not being fed. So smart irrigation is one. Composting of organic waste, reintroducing those compost into the soil preservation is another. Fighting against disease and pest with new technologies, what we call integrated pest management, including biocontrol, some bad bug being eaten by good insects, seems a very old technology, but in fact today it's considered as an innovation. We are using too much pesticide, not only in Al-Ula, but everywhere in the world, and biocontrol with this so integrated pest management is a key of these innovative technologies, and it's a lot about sensitization, about training, and about farming seeing the results. Farming seeing the results technically, but also economically. And that's a lot about what the Royal Commission for Al-Ula is doing, and we're trying to support this a lot in Al-Ula, yes.
And James, I'm sure you want to build on.
Sure,
Yeah.
and you know, in all of that, that's working with farmers to build their skills and farm workers to build their skills, especially say with our water project is the technology of the drip irrigation systems, the improvement of the soil with our locally made compost products to hold that water and the nutrients in the root zone, and then the training of people to be able to operate and understand the system. And we have a very large-scale program called the Agricultural Pilot Farms Agricultural Training and Advisory Service. So we have got agricultural officers out in the community working with the farmers, carrying out trainings, field days, and this is about improving the sustainability of what they do. So for every drop of water that we use, it's being correctly utilised. It's giving the best chance of giving an economic return. So when we look at sustainability, the economic return is important, particularly for a younger generation. What am I going to get back from this? The social responsibility, the sustainability of keeping the community together and building their sense of dignity and respect for themselves again. And then, of course, the environmental sustainability of agriculture in seeing agriculture increasing biodiversity, integrating agriculture and farms with the natural environment again. And so that's sort of the global approach to sustainability.
The balance between the development and the conservation, it's key.
And building and for the community to realise the way that our grandfathers did this actually was sustainable for hundreds of years, and it's only things that have happened recently in the last 2 generations that broke that, and so rediscovering that is a really important part of what we're doing.
Oh, fantastic. Maybe a word about agro-tourism. It's really gaining momentum, gaining ground internationally everywhere. So how do you see Al-Ula position itself as a leader in this field?
Absolutely, and one of our pilot farms is an agri-tourism farm, and so many farmers and many farming families are seeing opportunities to how am I going to get involved, and is this through value-added products? What are the unique and different experiences that we can create in different farms? So it's about authentic experiences and bringing the local people to life. I think as tourists, the expectation that there's going to be a huge number of tourists coming to Al-Ula in the future years, but giving authentic farm-based experiences is really an important part of it. It's something very tangible for people to get into the oasis, into the farms, meet local people and their families, talk with them, share a bit of their life and the products and the food that they eat, and hear their stories. And we can't do that. I can't do that I can tell them about Australia, but you know, people are coming to Al-Ula to find out about Al-Ula and to experience Al-Ula, and that's really what agritourism is able to do.
Well, thank you, James. And Stefan, this is exactly what you were saying earlier. It goes beyond economic sustainability. It goes way beyond that, environmental, cultural, and this is really what you're trying to achieve with the vision that is set.
Yes, absolutely. Linking all this, again, linking those fantastic products to the market, getting interest from Saudi people to readopt their own product. I remember when I first came in Al-Ula in 2019, we discovered fantastic citrus fruits in the gardens, and I was talking to locals, and they were telling me, no, it's not good. The best citrus fruit the best oranges are Egyptian orange, and this is the waxed orange, always the same color. Quite nice, no problem with the Egyptian orange, but the diversity of those products was fantastic, and getting both the population and local chefs readopting their own product, doing the traditional recipes, adapting them to the world is also what we would like to see, and the connection with the chef, with the Saudi chef. There are more and more interest of international chefs to Al-Ula. We had many events where international chefs like Keiko Nagae, a Japanese chef pastry who has worked for Trois Gros, for Garnier, and she's extremely interested in knowledge exchange, not knowledge transfer, only knowledge exchange in both directions, with local Saudi women about pastries, about gastronomy, integrating local product. So this connection is very important, yeah.
Maybe you wanted to add something. I had a question, but go
in
ahead.
In fact, as you said, there's some local product from Al-Ula which had not been now disappeared, like the cheese. They used to have a kind of cheese made from the goat milk, like what we have it in Taif, in the south, in the western part of Saudi Arabia. And that cheese tastes really good. At least it's a local and made from the local ingredient. And from the old generation, which the friend I know, he said we missed this. I mean, again, manufacturing, it could be a solution to add value to the product. For instance, to gain from every gram or every kilo from the orange or citrus, it's good to be utilized in this orange or lemon could be utilized in manufacturing jams or kind of a product that could sustain longer and could sell its value again in the market. The dates as well. I mean, Al-Ula, they have different species of date, different than in Medina, which is not too far. But manufacturing, production, it's another tools could focal more and could show the value of the product, because it will be very sustained for the whole Saudi Arabia. It could be goes to abroad and being as an ambassador to Al-Ula manufacturing.
And maybe briefly, what are the challenges that you're facing really to bring farm to table in Al-Ula? How are you ensuring like quality control over the whole process? Any insights?
I think from business point of view, if the traffic very sustainable in Al-Ula, it's not only seasonal. If the whole year is occupied, that will give one step for the chefs or for business to be maintained and to be very sustainable. And plus, as I said, you need to have a skilled Saudi. And I'm sure Culinary Commission, they give too much attention for opening a master class and supporting Saudi to gain more experience from international expert in the culinary, to add the experience, because we are targeting Saudi to visit Al-Ula, plus all the tourists to visit Al-Ula and enjoy the winter and the spring of Al-Ula. Even the summer, it has value if you look from the other part where you get to enjoy the ambient of Al-Ula in the summer, as well as by, again, the old people live in Al-Ula before. They used to say we used to have our own kind of dance and music and festival for the summer as well. It's not winter only. So many elements could encourage the business and make it more sustainable. Not just the ingredient,
Right.
not the raw material, I mean, human factor and strategy, good strategy from the Royal Commission of Al-Ula. Inshallah, will drive this mission perfectly.
Inshallah. James, I feel you wanted to.
Yes, and in line with this, celebrating the seasons in our program this year, and at the moment it's date season, but we look at the mango season, the peregrina season, and celebrating these things so that we have highlighting for food and other uses of the different crops and different products during their season. In our strategy, we see dates. Dates is the big number, and so this has got a vision to go into the export markets. Citrus is the next biggest quantity of product coming out of a crop type going into the national markets. And so how we highlight the high quality citrus in boutique markets in the big urban areas of Saudi Arabia. The great opportunity in Al-Ula itself for that whole basket of other fruits and vegetables and wild collected things and meats and dairy products, and from mangoes to mulberries to figs, all of these beautiful products are available at various seasons throughout the year. Our strategy aims to look at how we can be self-sufficient in these products for a maximum period of the year and celebrate those seasons and give our visitors and our increasing resident population a really fantastic culinary experience, making their products and also enjoying the local recipes. Our local team tell us, yes, but we get to eat them all the time. And it's sort of surprising that Al-Ula culture, Al-Ula products, Al-Ula food, that could be interesting to other people from outside. And so it's really a realization that's been happening over the last few years that, hey, they're really into things from Al-Ula. It's great.
Brilliant. Stefan, I felt you wanted to touch on this, or?
No, what is interesting is to see that even restaurants, hotels that are getting established in Al-Ula, they're demanding for local products. It's also part of their storytelling that they're buying local products, they're contributing to local economy, and you were asking what is the issue. Indeed, fluctuation in quality, because there was very few training over the past 10, 20, 30 years. Fluctuation in quality is one of the bottlenecks to access those high-end hotel and restaurants, whether it's Saudi restaurant that came in Al-Ula, like Suhail, like Pink Camel, whether it's international restaurant. We had Ducasse came in Al-Ula. But now, thanks to all the work that the Royal Commission is doing, thanks to the training, thanks to the standard marketing definition, farmers are getting into those standards and with less fluctuation in quality and step-by-step accessing those markets, those restaurants, those hotels, and that's really quite rewarding.
And maybe, yes, it's interesting to build on what has been said so far. What initiatives could be, really encouraged to create more collaboration between chefs, maybe, and producers to elevate these products? Any?
I think collaboration with an academical entity to create a kind of a campaign for local and global chefs to have like a seasonal campaign, like winter. They grab a bunch of chefs from the global plus Saudi, and they have to leave the season with experience, full experience from A to Z, including the herbing of the herbers of the ingredient, plus creating very sustainable dishes. I mean, with a good price, and that could be ambassador for Al-Ula. And that kind of collaboration could be used not also in Al-Ula, could start from Al-Ula and move to
Right.
another part of Saudi Arabia, because we are a huge country and we can utilize this experience. That could be a model where could deliver very quick kind of collaboration between international, local, and government entity like Lunar Art Commission on top of this, orchestrating this process. I think will add big value
Fantastic.
with the international school, maybe like Cordon Bleu. This kind of effort, it will definitely inject.
I think it's the right place to send
Yeah,
this kind
that's
of
why
messages.
because that the fuel for the future. Actually, you need to have a high caliber chefs to transfer the knowledge for the young chefs, and also to not to teach them, rather than to coach them how to utilize this ingredient with creating wow factor in their menu or in their experience.
Brilliant.
Plus, again, I'm still seeking the support from the agriculture minister of agriculture and industrial minister to create a kind of production from those products in order to target the local and international market. I think that would be good also.
Thank you. Thank you for your insights. James, very, very briefly, we have a couple of minutes left. Maybe, I don't know if you have questions in the audience. Feel free to raise your hands. We have a hand mic, so we can take one or two. But I would like to ask you this. I know you're working with local communities to foster entrepreneurship. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about how you're involving them, to enhance, the tourism growth and
Absolutely, and really, we see our role as being facilitative, and this is something that's really unique in Vision 2030, is that we're activating the community as opposed to doing it ourselves, and this is something the SME sector in Al-Ula is something that's really exciting. We have Vibes Al-Ula, which is the entrepreneurial hub, and I think it's good for Stefan to talk about some of the value-added products, projects that are happening in collaboration with Al-Ula at this
Nice.
time. Yeah,
Stefan?
honey.
Yeah, indeed. We have a series of projects where we're working directly with those communities to from the farm up to the plate, per commodities, per value chain, using the different events also that James mentioned, the seasonal events. So we're working on honey and beehives products improvement with the community, and we had 3 days ago a workshop with 40 beekeepers in order to start a new project to improve the quality, but also to improve the marketing, their packaging, so that they can access this market. We have projects related to citrus and processing of this citrus. We would like to engage into livestock processing product. It's a bit more complicated now because the food safety dimension is important, but you were talking about local cheese, the local laban, the fermented milk, which is still traditionally drank a lot in Al-Ula, but the local laban has hard time to access the market because of this food safety. So those value addition product involving the
Wild
communities
plants?
and sorry.
And the wild plants.
Yeah. And also, indeed, Al-Ula is a fantastic wild areas where the climate, the heat has defined some wild plants that have exceptional properties, like the Moringa peregrina and its oil, but like many other plants that could be good for gastronomy, a wild capper, for example, and trying to understand if those wild plants can be cultivated, and if they are, how to integrate them into the local gastronomy is something that we
Right.
work with the community, with their own traditional knowledge, because they know which plant is good for
That's-
medicine and for gastronomy.
That's great.
It's really interesting to look at how we do this to involve women and youth in the programs as well. And just one really quick example with our Moringa peregrina cultivation, looking at how we can use pruning to keep the size of the tree small so that it's able to be harvested by women, and so that it empowers women to be growing their product processing the product, and then ultimately marketing the product. And certification, getting quality assurance through the value chain, looking at what sort of facilities we put together for the post-harvest handling and storage of products through what's called our Farmers Hubs program. This is all fits together, and it's like a jigsaw. And I think 4 years ago, Stefan and I could have that vision of what this jigsaw was going to look like. But now there's enough pieces in place that everyone can see, aha, this is how it all fits together. So it's very, very exciting.
Fantastic. And I think that's almost all the time we have, unless we have a quick question. Yes, we have a quick question, very concise one here. Thank you. You will have a hand mic. Introduce yourself and...
Hello, my name is Hassan. I would like to ask if there's a directory available of the farms and their products so chefs can buy from them directly.
Did you catch that?
Yes, sure. If you get in touch with us, we're happy to put you in contact with people that can sell you products. Definitely.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. That was bold. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to our lovely speakers. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you to our audience. We're coming back in 1 minute, so don't go too far. Mr. Le Drian, please join us for a picture. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Merci. Merci beaucoup. Merci.